Everybody, welcome to today's webinar. Give me a second. Let me uh, close some of the things. Yep. Okay. Pardon of the noise right now. Currently, I think there's some renovation going on. So, welcome to today's webinar. So, as people are now still streaming in, let me tell you more about what we do. So we have this daily webinar where Jin will be walking you through his thoughts and ideas for specific currency. So for example, for Monday, for today, we'll be talking about the Aussie and Kiwi. Tuesday, we'll be talking about the Euro. Wednesday on Pound. Thursday on Yen and Gold, Friday on CAD and Oil, and recently last Friday we have added in BTC as well. So let me launch a poll. I see there's quite a lot of unfamiliar names. So just let me know that is this your first time attending this webinar? And to all Singaporeans, right, a happy National Day as yesterday, and now is a long weekend. Thanks for taking your time for attending this webinar as well. So today is Monday. Jin will be speaking about Aussie and Kiwi. So this webinar is going to be very beneficial to long-term investor and short-term traders. So during this session, Jin will be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas highlighting potential targets and risks. So a very important disclaimer, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please do remember to do your own analysis to entering any trades. So I believe I see here there's quite a couple, I think quite a lot of newcomers today. So let me give you a brief introduction. I'm Kenneth here. So I've known Jin, I think for about a couple of years, about 4 to 5 years now. So first as a student, then after that, I became a coach to teach people, to coach people on their trading. And now I became a business partner with Jin in Forex Briefcase. So Jin runs LCMS Traders and Forex Briefcase. So he's currently trading a US $9 million right now, which means that he's being invited to speak in many stages globally and even on radio station recently as well. So in fact, one of the reasons you might be here is because you might seen him presenting is some of the event or have attended one of his course previously. So let me launch another poll, which is just let us know where did you know about this webinar from. So while you guys is filling out, without further ado, let me hand over to Jin to talk about today's currency.
Okay, thank you, Kenneth. How's everyone doing today? Give me a big thumbs up if you're present and ready to go. Where we're going? I don't know. We'll find out. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I see all the thumbs coming up. All right. So with that said, we are live on Facebook, Forex Trading Asia. I know most of you are at home right now. Can you help me out? Jump onto Facebook, onto Forex Trading Asia, click share or the watch party. Those of you who are already friends with me, I already clicked the watch party on my profile, so you can also share that as well. That would be greatly appreciated. I'll give you a moment for that. Right, so as you are doing that, I'll just ramble on a little bit. We see a lot of new faces here, so welcome everyone. I hope you've been trading well. If you haven't, I hope that whatever you learn here will be beneficial to your trades. How many of you traded during non-farm payrolls on Friday? How many traded during non-farm payrolls on Friday? Put it in the chat. No one? We identified some, well, if you watch those Traders Club members, if you watch the videos, we identified some very good trades. I'll be running through some of them soon. I hope you made some money. I think you did, based on what we'll be talking about, I think you probably made some money on that. Okay, so today we're talking about the Aussie US, the Kiwi US. I'll do a quick recap on the non-farm payrolls as well, and then we'll see what other news we have coming up for the rest of the week. Okay, so with that said, let's get started. Here we go. First thing, Forex Factory, here we are. close that away. Okay. So Forex Factory today, nothing much happening. Well, Japan is having a holiday, same like in Singapore. Mountain, I don't know what Mountain Day is, but Japan is on holiday, or Mountain Day. Singapore is on holiday as well. But you can see that there's not much news coming through on this day. So I don't think it's going to be a day where market's going to be shooting upwards or downwards. We'll probably see some consolidation, a little bit of a trend developing. Which trend direction are we looking for it to develop towards? I think we're still going to see some US dollar weakness, but probably not as much as what we saw last week or even 2 weeks ago. Okay, so be careful with that. We're still looking at some dollar weakness, but not pushing as significant as from last week or a couple of weeks ago. Looking at what's coming up through this week, again, Tuesday, we're not going to see too much big impact news, but pay attention to the pound with some employment numbers coming through. We do anticipate that we could see some bad news coming from the employment numbers for the pound. With that said, the pound is already quite high a level. We'll probably talk about the euro and the pound later in the week. Wednesday is going to be important. Remember, what we're talking about today is the Aussie and the Kiwi. With any trades we are jumping into today or this week, we have to pay attention to the 10 a.m. on Wednesday, where there's going to be a New Zealand cash rate. Cash rate is interest rates. Are they going to hold it at 0.25%? Most likely they're going to hold it at 0.25. Pay attention to the rate statements, whether they're talking about further increases or decreases, or what they're going to do in terms of stimulus. In my view, I'm looking at this, rates are going to stay. They're not going to be talking about any increases or any cuts coming into the medium term or even into the longer term. Most likely, they're going to be mentioning something about stimulus, right? Increasing stimulus if required, but New Zealand is actually doing the best out of every other country in terms of the COVID situation. So they are coming out of the 100-day period as well. And the economy, although it has been hit, it hasn't been hit. It doesn't seem to be been hit that badly. So they are going to put in that stimulus as a measure, but they're going to say they're going to only take action if required. So with that said, I do think that it's not going to change the New Zealand dollar too much at this point for Wednesday's news, but we have seen significant moves in the New Zealand dollar already. It has set up quite nicely for this trade on Wednesday or leading up to Wednesday. So I'll share more with you on that as well. On Wednesday, we do have at 2 p.m. the GDP coming from the UK, going to be a very bad number. Previously was -2%, expected to be -20. I will go into details of that on Wednesday when we talk about the pound. So at Wednesday at 11, we'll talk about the pound. We'll talk about the GDP number. US CPI coming out on Wednesday evening as well. It's going to be a bit of a non-event, I feel. So, we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Do take note. Now we're going to talk about Aussie dollar. Thursday, we have some employment numbers. Unemployment rate is going to go up by a smidge, 7.4 to 7.8%. Employment change is going to improve, but only by a slight amount. So that alone, those margins of change is probably, in the scheme of things, not going to affect the way I look at the Aussie dollar today, leading up to the Thursday news as well. Of course, there could be major surprises, but looking at the way the numbers have been, I don't think it's going to be a big surprise. We can still probably trade Aussie the way we are planning to when I'll show and share with you shortly. Okay. Friday, we have the governor speaking from Reserve Bank of Australia and retail sales coming from the US. Probably, wait a little bit more, get the expected numbers out. We could see quite a bad retail sales number coming from the US. That's probably going to affect the US dollar again. But that's Friday. Let's try and make some money over this next couple of days leading up to Friday, and then we could go for that bigger trade as it comes along. Okay, so with that said, quite a number of news leading up. Aussie and New Zealand dollar is going to be important to look at today because we do have New Zealand dollar on Wednesday, Aussie on Thursday. But setting the scene, last week, let me just make it a bit easier to see. Oops, one more back, two more back. Okay, so last week on Friday, we had non-farm payrolls. Those of you Traders Club members, give me a big wave and give me a big thumbs up if you actually watched the video that I did and shared with you all on Traders Club. Good. I only can see Robbie, and Robbie gave me a thumbs up, so that means everyone else watched as well, right? I hope those videos have been beneficial. It did come out. We didn't guess the numbers, but we did come out as we expected. We saw some strength in the Canadian dollar. Canadian economic data, employment data coming out. We saw some strength in the US dollar as well. Okay, but despite seeing strength in those economic data, did we see a lot of US dollar strength coming through? No. We saw some short-term US dollar strength, and then probably a bit of a resumption back towards that US dollar weakness, which was the major trend for the past couple of weeks. Okay, so I went into a lot of details of that for the non-farm payroll video. Make sure you watch that video if you haven't already. But with that said, that's also one of the reasons why we're looking at a bit of US dollar strength or toppish feeling of the US dollar weakness. You know, probably could see a little bit more US dollar weakness going up against the Aussie, the New Zealand, or all the other pairs, but probably not at a scale that we have seen over the past couple of weeks. Okay, so with that said, I mentioned Traders Club a couple of times. Just wanted to share with you, those who are not already on Traders Club, I know there's a handful of you not already on, jump onto Facebook, search LCMS Traders Club, here. It is a private group. A private group means, it says only members can see what's in a group and what they post. Okay, so if you're not in a group, you can't see the videos, you can't share it outside and all that kind of stuff. We send out the signals first here in the Traders Club. So some of you came from the Telegram channel. We send out the signals here first, telling you what to buy, what to sell, and the reasons behind why you want to buy and sell. So you not only make money, you also learn how to make money as well. Okay, so it's a learning process. We guide you on different chart patterns, head and shoulders, pennants, triangles, all that kind of stuff. We have a whole new set. Daniel has a whole new set of coursework to get through with you. I think it's candlestick patterns this time around, so look forward to that as well. And then videos are all there on how to do support, resistance, correlation. This is the non-farm payroll video that I did for everyone here on how to trade that non-farm payroll event. Okay, so make sure you join. We have our signals. We have a weekly call every Wednesday and every Monday night. Okay, and it is $49 a month to join, or $199 a year. I would best suggest join for $199 a year, and then you can see that progress, that guidance through your whole trading journey. Okay, so with that said, let's start looking at some charts. I've got the New Zealand US on here. I'll start with the New Zealand as well. Okay, so New Zealand dollar here, that's the daily time frame. So one of the reasons why I say that we're seeing a little bit of a toppish effect on the New Zealand, on most US dollar weakness, is you've seen the New Zealand dollar go up, hit this 0.6677 level, and really struggled to break above. It really struggled to break above, hitting that level. It's come significantly back down. It's at 6604 right now. At this point, I do think that we could see it, slowly retrace back up and test this 6677 level again. Okay, So remember, I'm still looking at some US dollar weakness. So I'm looking at this moving back up, testing that level again. But if I bring it into the H4 time frame, I can't even bring it H1. We were sharing about this on the non-farm payroll. I was saying that if it broke below 6630, you could be looking to sell the New Zealand dollar downwards on a stronger US dollar towards this level. We saw about a 40-something pip take profit here on the New Zealand dollar H1 time frame. If you traded that during a non-farm payrolls, 40-something pips up, that would be a fantastic trade you would have jumped into already. Okay. With that said, on the H4 time frame, at this point, let me put an interim line here and say that at this point, we saw it react to this 6590 level. We saw it react to this level here. We saw it react at this point most recently. I do think that, with no surprises coming on Wednesday, okay, no surprises coming on Wednesday, New Zealand rate decision, hold everything the same, stimulus not in place, no plans to further cut or increase, we could see the New Zealand dollar move back up towards the 6677 level. Okay, we could see it move back up towards this level, maybe not immediately, but gradually up. This would be a good trading opportunity. You could be looking at a 30 pip stop loss, about a 30 pip stop loss here for a good 60 pip take profit. All right, risk of 30, profit of 60, risk reward of 1:2, right? Too simple, too easy for Robbie. He's yawning already. He's like, man, this is too easy. All right, so 30 pip stop, 60 pip take profit, but I wouldn't jump into it right now. I would be looking at it maybe tomorrow or on the later part of tomorrow, leading up to the news on Wednesday as well. Okay, so be a little bit aware, but I do anticipate that it will trade within this range. Can it break lower? It can break lower if we see some negative news coming from the New Zealand dollar or from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, whether they're going to say that they're going to increase stimulus or plan for further interest rates cuts, bring it back to zero or bring it to negative territory. In that scenario, look for it to break past 6590, and you could see some downside towards this point. Let me just do that. If it breaks past 6590, we could see it come 60 pips towards 6516, stop loss of about 30 pips again. Okay, I don't know whether it will go all the way down to about 150 pips. So downside is still there at about 30 pip to 60 pip profit, but in this scenario, I still think the higher likelihood, the bias is towards bouncing off this interim support back towards the 6677 resistance, trading within this range. Okay, I hope that's beneficial to you. Put it in the comments if you have any questions. Let me just have a look at the comments. Alrighty, I don't see any questions in the comments. All right, so with that said, let's look at Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar on the daily time frame. Look at it, straight line, pretty much a straight line upwards since the 17th of March or 20th of March. It's just been all the way up. It's moved up 100 and not 100, 1,500 pips already. At this point right now, again, it has struggled at this 7214 or 15 level. It struggled at that point. It's come back down a little bit. Looking at it on the H4 time frame, I shared with the Traders Club members, look to sell below 7173. There was a good 30 pip profit in that move from the non-farm payrolls at that point. Okay, but same thing with, I'll take this blue line away now because that was a non-farm blue line. Same thing with Aussie. At this point, we already have the employment numbers coming from the Aussie dollar or from the Australian economy on Thursday. All right, so on Thursday, we have Aussie numbers coming out, employment numbers coming out. I don't think, let me just check the numbers again. I don't think it's going to move those. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to be a big of surprise. Let me just check the numbers again. I forgot the numbers. All right, so it's looking at about 30K and 7.8. I don't think it's going to be much of a surprise coming from the Aussie dollar Thursday 9:30 a.m. I do feel that we could see that continual US dollar weakness, so that continual move upwards on the US dollar. But from my best suggestion is I wouldn't look to trade up this level. That 40 something 50 pip potential profit is probably a little bit too tight to trade. All right, why I say that, it might not go all the way there. It might slowly move up to that point or break there and come straight back down again. So I would be a little bit more patient, sit there, let it go, let it climb up, go past, let it go past the 7227 level, break above 72, let me see, break above 7240, right? Break above 7240, then look for that buying opportunity. Above 7240, you're looking at about a 30-40 pip stop loss for a potential 120 pip take profit. Okay, we're looking at rough numbers here because it's quite topish already. But if it does break above, we could see that move up, testing towards 7377. But with that said, be a little bit more careful with the Aussie US dollar. I would actually be more keen towards the New Zealand, trading the New Zealand dollar rather than the Aussie. So between these two, put New Zealand dollar on a slightly higher priority compared to the Aussie dollar. Okay, with that said, any questions? No questions so far. I just wanted to do a quick touch on the gold. So we spoke about gold, last week. We did that call that as it was going to retrace slightly, go back up, test this 2050 level, and I said it was going to come back down. It did test, went up a little bit higher than I expected, but it's now looks like it's going to test this 2000 level again. So I hope you didn't jump into that buy trade right at the top, because that would be very painful right back down. I know Kenneth was selling it down already. He came in and first thing he did was tell me that he made money on gold selling it down. So fantastic. One of the reasons why I want to touch on gold at this point. Okay, so with that said, Kenneth, you can take it back.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Jin. I think this is really a fantastic session again on the Aussie and Kiwi, especially in gold. When I first jumped into our office and talked to him, how excited I was, and we do chats on all the currency and especially all the currency call and everything. I always will take this opportunity to learn, and after I do my own analysis and see all the trick ideas throughout the day and make money through it. So as we are coming into this session, let me launch this poll. Give me a second. Okay, here it goes. So let me know that what do you think about this webinar. So recording of this video will be uploaded to this LCMS YouTube channel. So thank you all for joining for today. So tomorrow morning 11 a.m. we'll be talking about the euro. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning back into this webinar again. Do trade safe, trade well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.